After getting the Platinum Trophy for Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, I knew I had to go get the Platinum for a sequel, Sherlock Holmes The Awakened. Compared to Chapter 1, this game has a much more linear story, removes a lot of the open world extra stuff, and removes the combat, so god bless for that, and has chapter selection, which means there are no missable trophies in this game. To attain the Platinum Trophy for this game, there's actually only one step to do, and that's just to complete all the trophies in the specific chapters, and if I miss them, I can use chapter selection. Also moving forward, this game may contain spoilers as some trophies are tied to completing certain tasks, so yeah, just for an FYI, be careful of that. So we begin this game as we do for most games, in Chapter 1. This chapter kind of acts as a tutorial for this game. So fast forward, we meet the store owner of the bookstore, and helping him with his love life gives us our first trophy for the game. A while later, we get dragged into our second case, and this completes Chapter 1. We then begin Chapter 2. And we go to the harbor, and the first trophy we get in this chapter is to learn about what happened to the missing brother, and we get this by talking to a young boy about him. We then have to discover how an intruder broke into a warehouse, and examining a broken fence near it will unlock this trophy. I didn't get the final trophy in this chapter, and that's the curiosity kill the cat to examine the Cthulhu statue 3 times, and it was a gold trophy too, which is kind of surprising. This completes Chapter 2. And then we start Chapter 3 as we go to the Elder West Institute. This was probably my second favorite chapter in this game because of the dark themes in this chapter, and I kind of felt like the story was finally picking up. The first trophy we get in this chapter is a Fond Memories trophy for finding the books on the tulpas. We then had to pick every lock. I think there are only about 4 in the first 3 chapters, and you just have to complete it and not skip them, and then you get this trophy. We then learn more about the lore of what is happening in the asylum and the ritual that is being hosted, and doing so gets us a trophy. After unlocking the hidden door in the asylum, we get our last trophy for this chapter and complete Chapter 3. Moving on to Chapter 4. We have to go to New Orleans, of all places in America, to continue this investigation, and once we arrive we have to view a poster about an auction that is being held in the city, and again it's another gold trophy, so I'll take the rare trophy. We then had to pretend to be a gentleman named Barnaby so we could enter the auction, and after finding him drunk, we steal his clothes, enter the auction, and unlock another trophy. After this, we then complete Chapter 4 and take the taxi to go find someone who lives in New Orleans to question him. And we begin Chapter 5. Which is my favorite chapter due to the mystery we have to solve, which was who committed the murders at his mansion. The first trophy we get in Chapter 5 is to unlock the safe in his office. We then have to quench the horse's thirst as he's been in the stable for a while without any water, and we get another gold trophy for this.
At least that's one life saved.
The last trophy we get in this chapter is to find the raccoon's nest with the item we need to continue. After solving the mystery as to what happened in this mansion, we finally complete Chapter 5. And move into Chapter 6. We have to take a boat and go deep in the bayou to locate the owner of the mansion, and this chapter is probably the hardest because of how lost I got trying to navigate this area. But the first trophy we get for this chapter is brain food for feeding us to the alligators, and we get this by just sailing into a group of alligators. And after about 15 hours, I finally managed to find the island we set out to locate and get a trophy.
This place gives me the shivers.
I then identify all the unknown substances that are on the island and learn more about the ritual, which unlocks the last trophy for this chapter. I then get a trophy for completing Chapter 6. We then go back to London to start Chapter 7. And in this chapter, we basically learn where a ritual is going to be held, and we get a trophy for giving the book to the bookkeeper Barnes. And after guessing the location of the ritual wrong like 15 times, I finally guessed it right and we finally complete chapter 7. And we move on to the final chapter and stop the ritual. We begin chapter 8 at the location of the ritual, and we get our first trophy for finding all the evidence at the cliffside crime scene.
What drove him to this dreadful act?
Later in this chapter, we learn more about the lighthouse keeper and get a trophy for that. After doing some hard-ass puzzles, we finally solve the ritual and get a platinum trophy for completing our second Sherlock Holmes game. And that was it for this game. It wasn't that long. It was so much shorter than the other game. I think this one was like almost half as short as the other one. But honestly, I think I like this one so much more because I like how linear it was. I feel like it was more focused on like one story. I don't know if I really missed the open world. It was whatever. There's also no missable trophies, which is always nice. And I also removed the combat, which I think was also a good idea. Yeah, I also like the darker tone and kind of felt like I was like following a movie. And that's all I got for this game. I hope there's a third one. I'm not really sure if they're doing a third one, but I think they improved from the first and second. And yeah.
Your letter on the matter? Would it be to see Professor Gygax?
The asylum's facilities, actually. I've heard great things about the work you do here.
Permission to go anywhere would have to come from Professor Gygax. Wait here, bitte. Mr. and Mrs. Bronson,